Could Rachel Zegler really be out as Disney's Snow White? The rumors are swirling and fans are shocked by the potential replacements. Bob Iger's alleged decision to rethink the casting after massive backlash could mean big changes for the movie. But why replace Rachel Zegler instead of Brett Cooper? And what does this mean for the future of the remake? From insider leaks about Rachel's attitude to speculation about Lucy Hale and Brett Cooper taking over, we're diving deep into the drama that's shaking up Bob Iger's leadership at the helm of Disney. Stay tuned to find out how this wild story unfolds and what it means for Snow White's legacy. It seems Rachel Zegler's role as Snow White might finally be coming to an end. Bob Iger's Disney is reportedly making some big changes before the movie's release. Speculation is already swirling about who could step in as the new Snow White, with fans eagerly debating potential replacements. Reports suggest that Bob Iger isn't just considering a recast, they might even cut down Snow White's presence in the story entirely. This dramatic shift seems to be a direct result of Rachel's own actions. Insiders claim her attitude has alienated fans, and Disney has grown tired of the negative attention she's brought to the project. With the film's release now delayed by a full year, the studio has a chance to make major adjustments and avoid what many predict could be a box office disaster. Despite Rachel reportedly completing most, if not all, of her scenes, Bob Iger's Disney might see no other choice but to start fresh. Early feedback on the film paints a grim picture, and the company is likely weighing the financial risks of moving forward with the current version of the movie. Sources also hint at significant changes to the character of Snow White herself. It seems the movie is moving away from the new, feminist direction initially planned for her, aiming instead to bring back some of her original qualities. If Disney CEO Bob Iger pulls this off, it could be exactly what the remake needs. The upcoming Snow White remake was envisioned as a more modern and feminist take on the classic story. This version of the princess doesn't rely on traditional roles, nor does she need a prince to save the day. Rachel Zegler herself has been vocal about these changes, repeatedly stating that she believes the original 1937 movie is outdated and frankly problematic. She's openly supported the removal of the prince's role, which has sparked plenty of backlash. Critics argue that Rachel's remarks have been dismissive of the classic film, showing a lack of respect for the beloved source material. Adding fuel to the fire, Rachel's been criticized for her unprofessional attitude. Many have accused her of being unnecessarily rude in interviews and public appearances. Not only has she dismissed the original story's values, but she's also taken shots at her co-star, allegedly mocking the themes of the original movie. These actions and her openly admitting that she was never a fan of Snow White have made fans increasingly concerned about her involvement in the project. But the controversy surrounding Rachel extends beyond just her comments about Snow White. She's also drawn fire for taking shots at other major Disney franchises like Star Wars and the MCU. On multiple occasions, she's openly mocked Disney creative decisions on social media, which many fans see as a lack of gratitude or loyalty, especially from someone employed by the company in significant roles. One of her most controversial tweets involved poking fun at Bob Iger's decision to bring back Emperor Palpatine in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. She sarcastically referenced the infamous line, "Somehow Palpatine returned." While her criticism mirrored sentiments shared by many within the Star Wars fanbase, it left others uneasy. To them, it seemed like she was undermining her own employer in a very public way. Though a handful of fans praised her for voicing an honest opinion, the overall reaction was mixed, with many finding it inappropriate for someone representing Disney to criticize its projects so openly. Rachel Zegler's actions, particularly her public statements and behavior, have raised considerable controversy. This may now be leading to a replacement in Disney's Snow White remake. One key point of criticism? Her tweet mocking Disney's decisions regarding Star Wars and its return of Palpatine. While some fans agreed with her sentiment, others found her criticism of Disney, the company that employs her, to be hypocritical. Rachel is involved in a project, the Snow White remake, that's similarly changing the traditional story, so her mocking Bob Iger's decisions about other franchises seemed inconsistent and out of place. This isn't the first time Rachel has sparked backlash either. Previously, she made a controversial comment about Jeremy Renner, suggesting that the role of Hawkeye should be recast with a trans woman of color. This remark alienated many, as it seemed disrespectful not only to Renner but also to the idea of replacing established characters in such a blunt and politicized way. Rachel's apparent disregard for the established characters and her willingness to make bold, controversial statements has made her a polarizing figure. Now, Bob Iger's Disney is facing a difficult situation because of the negative public reaction. They had already planned reshoots for the film, but with the backlash against Rachel's attitude, they're considering going further and recasting her role. Since Snow White is such a central figure in the movie, replacing Rachel is no simple task, but Disney reportedly wants to soften Snow White's character and distance her from the controversial persona Rachel has helped create. This would involve undoing some of the changes Rachel herself championed, further complicating the process. To resolve this, Disney is reportedly exploring the possibility of casting a different actress. They're considering someone who might better fit the traditional image of Snow White. One idea being floated, splitting the character into two different portrayals, maybe a younger actress for the more innocent version of Snow White, shifting the focus away from some of the controversial elements Rachel had pushed for. By making these changes, Bob Iger's Disney hopes to regain control of the movie's public image and avoid further damage caused by the ongoing controversy surrounding Rachel. If Bob Iger decides to rework Snow White and move away from the girl power angle that Rachel Zegler had been promoting, the film could embrace a version of the character that's more closely aligned with the original's innocent and pure image. This shift might be exactly what Disney needs to mend the controversy and regain fan support. Sources suggest that Disney might already be taking steps toward this change, perhaps even casting a new, younger actress like Emilia Clarke to play the role of the younger Snow White. Clarke seems like a perfect fit, bringing the charming, innocent energy Disney likely wants to reintroduce. But there's a notable difference: she doesn't look like Rachel Zegler. This discrepancy in appearance could be a clear sign that Disney CEO Bob Iger is serious about rebranding the film to fit a more traditional image of Snow White. It could signal that the studio is looking for a new lead actress who better fits the classic Snow White aesthetic. Hale is emerging as a top contender for the role. She's popular because she closely matches the traditional Snow White look: fair skin, dark hair, and a delicate appearance. Fans remember how she embodied Snow White-inspired looks in the past, and her reputation as a kind and respectful actress has earned her plenty of fan support. Hale's connection to Snow White has always been clear. Fans recall her past portrayals of Snow White, and they believe she can make an ideal fit for Disney's revised version. As Disney now seems ready to make significant changes, Hale is once again being considered for the part. But Hale isn't the only contender. Another name that's emerged is Brett Cooper. Known for her work with the Daily Wire, Cooper is already starring in her own Snow White project, a retelling that remains faithful to the classic story while steering clear of the political elements overshadowing Disney's version. Early reactions suggest that Brett's portrayal has resonated with fans of the original story, offering a more traditional Snow White experience. Now, with Disney reconsidering its direction, Brett Cooper could have a real shot at landing the role. She's demonstrated her capability in the Daily Wire's Snow White project, and it seems she could bring that same experience to Disney's revised version. If Bob Iger's Disney pivots back to a more traditional take on Snow White, it's likely Brett would be eager to jump on board, aligning with her vision for the role. Interestingly, there are notable similarities between Brett and Emilia Clarke. Both actresses share a certain innocence and youthful energy that could complement the new approach Disney CEO Bob Iger seems to be considering. If the studio decides to cast either Brett or Emilia alongside a younger Snow White, this could be a savvy and well-received decision. Should Bob Iger make these changes and cast either Brett or Hale, the result could very well be a Snow White movie that resonates with fans and achieves the success Disney has been hoping for. With the right casting choices, Bob Iger's Disney could turn this project around. What do you think? Will Bob Iger's Disney finally fix Snow White with a new cast? Should they stick with Rachel Zegler, or is it time for a change? Drop your thoughts in the comments.